Hi, this is Sai Kumar Navathe. Today, you are going to learn about difference between CV and resume. When you have to write a CV and when you have to represent a resume. So basically, if you are in a college graduation or the post graduation, or you are a working professional, or you're looking for a job change, and which one is better to represent yourself? That all the things we are going to discuss today. So to start with the session, I would like to explain you that resume and CV are most important for anyone's life to get a dream job. So basically, if you go for the freshers, they are they're not having that much skills how to write resume or what kind of words they can use, what kind of vocabulary they can use, all those things. So to go into depth, we have to understand what is the basic meaning of these two terms, resume or CV. So let's go into the session now. So CV is in-depth content. So we cannot cover the CV in one or two pages. Minimum we should go across pages. So here, if we go for CV, who have to go for the CV basically? The CVs are normally written by the experts, those who are having experience, or those are in the academic side. And CV contains high level data, that is in detail data, that is your achievements, your job role, your achievements, or we can say your experience, your education qualifications in depth, your intern projects, your project works, what you have done, uh, what kinds of books you have written, if you have written any books. It's a detailed content, whereas CV is, if we made once, it's enough. Whereas coming to resume, resume is a short and sweet content. That is, you are going to represent yourself in one or two pages, not more than two pages. So here, whenever you represent a resume, you have to keep one point in your view, that is what kind of job role you are applying for. Immediately you can change your resume. Whereas in CV, we cannot change CVs for every job roles. So once if you make a CV, it will be a long-term process. You can go for the long-term usage also. So here, the document representation of both the things. So document is represented different ways in resume and CV. So basically, if you see, we are having three to four types of different representation of documents, right? Or we can say chronologically, functionally, or combination of chronological and functionally. So here, if we go for the different levels in representing CV, it's very good to represent the CV in chronological order. Means first we can go for the education, or we can go for the first education, object of the job role, or education, or you can go for the experience, what kind of experiences you had, what kind of job roles you had. Now let's go to the resume, one of the very important topic now. Resume is a short content, whereas you can write it in one or two pages. So here, whenever you are writing a resume, you have to be clear with your particular skills, what goal you are having to represent this resume. Because before you enter into the job, your resume or the CV is already placed there. Or these are the only two documents which will allow you to attend interviews. If you are not representing this document in a proper way, there is no scope of going for the interviews, and there is no scope of getting a job for you. So here the applicants or the candidates should remember one thing. Those who are freshers or the college students, or those who are having 1 or 2 years experience in any kind of field, you can go for resume. And those who are having 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years, 20 years experience, they can go for CV. I'm not saying that the freshers cannot go for CV, but freshers are not having that much content to represent on the CV, whereas they say it as a CV. So your resume will change according to the job roles. As you know, resume will represent yourself. It's a mirror of you. So every individual should keep a goal of the resume. Suppose if you're going for a particular job role, what is a job role? what kind of candidates they are searching for, and what your resume represents. If your resume is not matching with the job role, immediately there will be a rejection in the scrutiny way. So here, the applicant or the candidate should highly observe what job role you are applying for. What are the different job roles they are expecting. So here, the resume basically represented one or two pages. So now coming to the different length and what kind of data we can add in the resume or CV. So in resume, you can add summary or an objective of the job role or objectives of the job role. So here we can say objective should write in an action oriented way. You should not write objective in such a way that I have to achieve so and so things with when I get an opportunity. So no, you take an action oriented. I work on the particular task to get a master in that particular sector. So what you are representing yourself? Action oriented candidate. So always an HR or the recruiter will observe the objectives of a CV or the resume, what kind of sentences they are using. Next, coming to the resume, is it changes according to the industry. What kind of industry or what kind of sector you are applying for the job. Whereas CV is basically used for the academic purpose. Basically 90 to 95% the academic sector, the CVs are best. Or you can go for any teaching job or any sort of content writer jobs or any sort of HR academic side or admin side we can say. So these kind of areas CV is best. So the one of the another difference here in CV and resume is the information what you represent in the CV or resume. What kind of information represent? If you go for the informations in CV, as you know, it's a long data content. So you can go for the informations like the basic things. It is very common: contact number, email ID. These are all things you have to check in advance. You should not update the contact number or email IDs which you are not using. You have to update the contents what is in use now. So here we can write the educational qualifications, professional or academic achievements, what kinds of books you, if you have written any books, what kind of books you have written, or you can write the grants on fellowships, what kind of fellowships if you are doing any fellowships, you can write it, or what kind of conferences you have attempted, your different kind of experiences, job role. If you have done a particular job, what was your job role, what was the objective of the job, and what you have achieved in this particular period of the job. As well as if you're having any references, you can add there. So one advantage in CV is you can add lots of content and you can represent your personality. And one disadvantage in CV is no recruiter is having that much time to observe the CVs. There is advantages as well as disadvantages in both. So now coming to the what information we should add in resume. CV we have seen it's a depth content, but resume is very important. For 90 to 95% of the candidates will go for the resume because it directly hit the point. So here the work experience or education sector, objective, contact number, your achievements, references, all these things what you have to represent is in a short form. You cannot consume lots of space in the page. So personal information also, whenever you are adding a personal information, personal details, it should be short and sweet in the resumes. You should not add a lots of content. So resume is, you have to add a resume itself. You should not add different names. One very important thing. Someone will go. Suppose example, I am Sai Kumar Nawate. Sai Kumar Nawate. They will give title and they will submit the resume. No, you have to use the term resume when you are submitting the resume, right? Next, coming to the personal statements or objectives. You know it. The grammar or grammatical errors will impact your personality. So whenever you're writing your resume or the CV, go through that what kind of grammar you use, what kind of statements you use, as well as explain them what you really want to do, as well as Write suitable paragraphs. See, basically, what happens, many candidates will write, I am a team worker, I am fast learner, I am so and so in the strengths. When the recruiter will try to check them, if they're not having those qualities, even the recruiter will try to check those qualities, it will be in the flaw, or it will be in the fault way or the false way. So you should represent the data where you are perfect in, right? So next, coming to uh, personal informations, whether we should add personal informations or not. Yes, we can add the personal information, but up to some extent, not in detail. No one is going to ask your other number. No one is going to ask your driving license number. That is too much personal. You can add just what, married or unmarried, or you can add your what I can say, uh, basic things, address, contact number. That's enough. Well, married or unmarried, nowadays they are checking for that. So next, work experience. How you represent work experience in the resume or the CV. So there is a difference here. Work experience in resume will be represented in a short term, in a short messages, like your educational qualifications, your experience. You worked in so and so place for so and so role. That's it. In resumes, short and sweet. Whereas in CV, we go in depth. Suppose work experience you are writing, what kind of job role you were in which company you have worked, up from where to where you have up to up from where time period you are going to write, as well as your job role, what kind of job role you had in the workplace. So there is a difference, you see. Resume is representing your company name, particular period, and your job role. That's it. Your position of the company. But in CV, you're getting a little bit exploration of yourself. You're getting a space to expose yourself. So this is major difference when you write a work experience in CV and resume. Coming to achievements. Achievements, everyone achieves the small or big goals, small or big milestones, and we should feel proud to represent our achievements, right? So here the candidate is getting a chance to expose their achievements, to get a positive points in the interview. If you are going for the suitable job, if those achievements are matching with the suitable job, it will be a plus point for you. So here, one thing you have to keep in your mind, don't write irrelevant achievements in your CV or resume. Don't write irrelevant achievements which is not goal oriented for the job, right? You can write skills oriented achievements. If you have learned new language, you can write. If you have learned new technology, you can write. If you have learned new software, you can write. Or if you have learned new skill in particular sector, you can write. If you have done any certifications, that I'm going to come for the certifications, you can write it. So here, when you are writing an achievements in CV or resume, both the things you have to keep in your mind that always write skill oriented achievements according to the job role, right? So next, whether we have to write the references or not. Or what is references? See, references are basically, we go with particular jobs with particular request, right? Particular references. Well, the question is whether we have to write or not. Yes, you can write it, but not in detail. You can represent it. Project supervisor of so and so company has referred your company to join or have a try for the company. So perhaps whenever you are writing a references, you have to be a little bit cautious. Who has referred? What kind of sentences you are using it? So next, coming to how you have to keep your resume or CV. How, what kind of representation you have to keep in CV and resumes? Is one thing is accuracy. Accuracy in all the terms. What the data you are writing, what kind of skills you are having, strengths you are having, what kind of vocabulary you use, what kind of things you display. Because you may win in CV or resume. The recruiter or the HR can select your CV or resume with the attractiveness or good vocabulary. But when they take the interviews, if they won't found what you are representing, it will create a bad impact and it may lead to losing the job also, losing the next round also. So it's better to write an accurate. Next, adaptable. You have to be adaptable according to the job role. You, that's what that's the flexibility we get in the resumes. That flexibility we are not going to get in the CVs. Adaptability. If you are going to apply for some particular job roles, you have to research on that particular job role, for what they are recruiting, what job role they are recruiting. If they are, if you found any new skills they are searching for, if you are having those skills or if you learn those skills, you can add in the resumes. Whereas in the CV, we are not having that much flexibility. Next, coming to confident and hardworking. So these are the terms which we use in the strengths. Apart from that, you are having innovative, I'm very proactive, reliable, responsible, enthusiastic. All these things you write in the strengths or what qualities. But when you're writing, you have to be accurate, whether you are or not. So I will try to explain one example here. There was one candidate. He wrote that I am a fast learner. So what happened? The HR asked her, asked him, "Are you a fast learner?" He said yes. So HR gave one paper. Now read this in 1 or 2 minutes, and you explain me the summary of the paper. So these kinds of activities it may occur with your vocabulary. So be cautious, right? So next, coming to the basic terms, what they will use in different job roles are excellent in communication, verbal and written, goal driven. I always work for my goals. I'm very flexible. I'm motivated. Multitask. I usually go for multitask things. Independent as well as detail oriented. So what's happening is when you write these kinds of stuff in the CV or the resume, you be sure for yourself. Are you committed to those words? Are you committed to the things what you're writing? If yes, go for it. If no, try alternate. Or if no, try to learn the things and add it. Because you are not going to uh, uh, hide yourself for the long time. Because the things will be exposed easily. The HR or the recruiter will see minimum 100 CVs in a day. He will easily observe what they are trying to explain it. And immediately after seeing, observing the resume, when they call you for the interview, they can easily find out whether you have written the truth or wrong. So these things you have to keep in your mind. Next, coming to uh, the words what you can put in the resumes are we are having lots of keywords or vocabularies, different kinds of words which represent your interests, strengths, weaknesses, hobbies. All these words you have to be cautious while selecting it. You select it minimum and quality. Next, coming to the realistic way, you have to be very realistic way. Don't write irrelevant information which is not you are having. I speak Spanish very fluently. If you write that, if if you don't know the Spanish, what happens? You're writing a lie in the resume. So what you are writing, you have to prove it, or you have to be in a position to prove it. I'm hardworking. I'm hardworking nature. So you have to prove it yourself. These are the things generally you have to keep in your mind. Next, coming to which is correct, resume or CV. There no resume is perfect. I'm saying no CV is perfect. Every resume and every CV is unique according to the candidate. Every resume and every CV is unique according to the person. How the resume is nothing but what you are. You are representing yourself. So the things what you have to keep in your mind when you are writing resume or CV is the specific job oriented keywords. What career you are searching for, what kind of career you want it to be in the next 4 to 5 years. Don't write irrelevant things. Be careful when you are using the words, as well as be accurate with the content. 10 or 20% here and there, it's okay. But 50 to 60%, if you're not writing what you are, it will put you in the difficulty when you face the interviewer. So don't make these kinds of mistakes in the resumes or CVs. So this is what about CV and resume. Now coming to the final thoughts, the specific skills or specific job role, experience, personal qualities, understanding the job requirements for which job you are applying for. So all this you have to keep an outline of it. You write in a rough page. If you are going for resume, represent the data in a proper way. The same content, if you are going for the CV, add the little bit content more, write descriptions of the job role, achievements of the job, what kinds of achievements you got in the particular period where you worked. All these things you have to write, and you have to be specific with what you are writing. So this is what about CV and resume. uh, I hope you got a clarity about CV and resume. So to end the video in the short form, I can say that resume is 1 or 2 pages maximum, which you are going to represent yourself in a short form and with quality data. CV is basically used more than 2 or 3 pages. It can go to 4 to 5 pages, not more than 4 pages actually. Whereas you represent lots of content in the CV, you write experience, your academic side, your job profession, job role, job achievements, your interns, projects, all those things you are going to write. So be sure what you want to prepare. If you want to prepare resume or you want to prepare CV. So all the best for your next job. Prepare the resume or CV with the perfect content, and we help you to write your resumes in a perfect way, because nowadays the jobs are very less. You get an opportunity to sit in front of the interviewer when you write a resume in a perfect way, when you write keywords, when you write your objective in a perfect way, when you write your experience in a perfect way. If you are fresher, when you write what kind of intern you have done. If you're a fresher, what kind of strengths you are having. We help you to write your resumes. And don't forget to subscribe the channel. Don't forget to share this video to the young generation, to the young college graduates, or the freshers, or the experienced people. Who knows? This small video might help them to get clarity what they want to represent their resume or the CV. So by this, I will try to end this video. Subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to share. Like it also. Thank you.